Hello, Julie. Good afternoon. Ngayon lang kita nakita. Okay? Christine.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Tayo. Only 6. Wala yung isa. Okay, so yung purpose nito is to be able for me to gauge you guys kung saan kayo, kumusta yung readings nyo, okay? And midterm is approaching. So how do you find our lessons? Christine.
Yung may mga topics po dito sobrang bago pa lang po sa akin, ma'am. And yung sa history po ng computer, sobrang dami.
Yung history, that would be fine. Kumbaga, readings lang naman yun. Okay, mas magtatrabaho tayo dun sa algorithm, pseudocode algorithm and flowcharting. After this meeting, mag-a-upload ako ng exercise. And yun, meron pa isa sa agenda natin. Isa sa agenda natin is to be able to know how you guys would like to take the exam online and or sa venue kasi pupunta kami sa mga specific areas for the administration of the exam. So, anong gusto nyo? Online? Siguro magbibigay ako ng form for us to get the information kung sino yung gustong mag-online exam at saka on the venue exam. In Berak, madaming areas in Berak. So, parang synchronous yung exam. Paper and pen. So, the midterm exam, the midterm exam was moved on October 26 to 28. Any reaction about that one? Move. October 26 to 28. Initially, midterm exam nakalagay. Initially, next week siya. Next week sana, which is, I think 21 ba? I'm not sure. Wait lang. I'm not mistaken. Basta, it was moved from on 26 to 28. Dito ata siya sa, I think, 21. Okay. So, later, alamin natin saan nyo ba gustong mag-exam, kung sa site, or on-site, or online. Okay. So, history. About the history, basahin nyo na lang to. Okay. So let's focus on algorithm, pseudocode, and flowchart. Okay? Sige. Muna tayo dito. And during the before pala, before the midterm exam, I think the distribution of the modules and the OTG flash drive nakaschedule na din. Also, the distribution of yung word. Kita yun na, nakikita naman yung sinusulat ko, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Apo.
Opo.
Okay. So, distribution of OTG flash drive, I think this will be given. Nakalimutan ko yung details sa meeting namin. Makakalimutin ako, sorry. Chinecheck ko nga yung yung scheduling ko. So, this will be given ahead of time, yung OTG flash drive with your modules. And, sino na yung may COE? Anyone?
Christine, wala pa po.
Si Christine wala pa. How about others?
Opo.
Wala pa po, ma'am.
Wala pa, okay. So, sa ibang college kasi, yung iba, like College of Engineering, pick up sa kanila. Meron ka na. Paano mo yan nakuha? John Earl.
May sound po, ma'am?
Opo. May audio ka.
Ano po, ma'am, suyo po ako, ma'am, sa tita ko, ma'am, mag-running ID. Kasama yung nag-gawin.
I see. Okay, good.
Kuha po ako ID, ma'am.
How about yung ID? Saan kinukuha?
Nagpasabay na po, ma'am.
Sabay na din?
Ano, ma'am?
You mean sa college mismo kinuha? Sa college ba? Sa college natin? Kinuha?
Nagpasuyo po ako, ma'am, sa tita.
Pero sa college ba? Sa CICT ba?
Okay.
Okay. So, yung iba na wala pa, ibibigay din yung COE nyo. Hello, I can't hear you guys. Yung walang COE, okay, relax lang. Kasi ibibigay din yung COE nyo sa inyo. Okay, during the distribution of Okay, let's go to the lesson proper. Okay, so kita niyo na?
Opo.
Okay. So, lesson 3, programming concept. Okay, kindly read what is source code. Earl. Mabasa ba?
COE. Ako po, ma'am.
Opo, Earl.
Source code. The actual text used to write the instructions for a computer program the computer can understand.
Okay. So a source code for the computer to understand it, it should be translated into something. So for example, Miss Universe, okay? Si Miss Philippines hindi nakakaintindi ng English. Okay? Or sabihin natin si China. Okay? For her to be able to understand, kailangan natin siyang ilapat sa salitang Chinese para maintindihan niya. So, si computer parang ganun din. So, we need a translator. We need someone for the Miss Universe or for the search page or for sa pageant. We need someone who will translate someone for us to comprehend. Okay? So, ito naman, so from the source code, kailangan siyang i-translate into a machine language, which is the 10111, which is, ang naiintindihan lang ni computer, yung ganong instruction. Para naman maintindihan natin, sa part natin, as user ng computer, kailangan yon si 1001, si machine language, kailangan siyang i-translate naman para sa atin para mabasa natin, which is ang nakikita natin, yung language na nakikita natin sa screen. Yun na yun. Compiler. A software tool that translates source code into data that a computer can understand. Specifically, a computer is used to turn source code into object code. The object code is then passed through a program called a linker, which turns into an executable program. So we need to compile. Then, saka siya ita-translate. Yung compiling, it is within the procedure of the computer. Data type. Anyone who could read data type? Hello, guys? Andyan pa ba kayo?
Opo.
Apo.
Okay po.
Okay, hindi ko makita. Romeo Marine. Romeo Marine.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please read data
Yes,
type?
ma'am.
Data type.
The classification of pieces of information in a program, the amount of different data types varies between languages. Typically, there are data types for integers, whole numbers, floating point numbers, numbers with a decimal part, and single characters. To distinguish between different data types, a computer uses special internal codes.
Okay. For instance, okay. For instance, data type. Enable editing. Naririnig niyo ba ako?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Data type, as mentioned earlier, as Romeo read from the content itself, ang data type, example, int. Ang sinabi kanina, what is an integer? What is an integer? Integer meaning
Whole
to say
numbers.
it's a whole number. Okay, a whole number, for example, integer x. Okay? So meaning to say, the x variable, the word variable. The word variable meaning is something that holds a value. X itself is a variable. Meaning to say, ang ilalagay natin dito, ang variable na x na to, ex na to, could be able to hold a value. Parang isipin niyo siyang container. Okay? Ang kaya niyang i-hold na value is a whole number, which is 1. 1,223. What else? anything which is a whole number. Okay, whether it is positive or negative. Whole number. Okay. So another data type, as mentioned earlier, was a floating point. We could have here float. Okay, for example, float. Ano yung mga numbers na mag-a-arrive ng or magbibigay sa atin ng value which has a floating point? Ilan na?
Something.
Oh yeah, something that holds a value. Na tatlo na lang tayo. Something that holds a value which is floating point. For example, quotient. Okay, quotient. Okay. Si quotient, lagi nating iisipin na this could give us a value which is, for instance, 3 divided by 2. So this will gives us 1.5, tama? Okay. Say for instance, Rx, variable x, contains the value of 3. Okay? Example. Okay, y is 2. Or sabihin natin, divisor natin is 2. Okay? So, if we will be, so what is our quotient? Say, for instance, EX divided by D is RQ. EX divided by D is equals Q. Meaning to say, Q will hold the value of 1.5. So meaning to say, Q is a floating point. Something that is anticipated natin na floating point siya. Nasabutan. Okay, let's move. Tatlo na lang tayo. Nasa na yung iba? Parang unfair. Okay. So let's move now. That's variable. Ha? Variable pa lang pinag-uusapan natin. Constant. Sige nga. What is constant? Something, the same thing as a variable with one major difference. The same thing as a variable with one major difference. The value of the constant does not change, while the value of a variable can change all throughout the program. Isip, what is constant? May naisip ka ba, Christine, na constant? How about you, Earl?
Constant, ma'am. Di ka ba gumam sa value, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yung designated na variable, yun lang.
Yeah, very good, very good. Nangulit lang ako dun sa ano natin, sa messenger. Okay, let's go back here. Okay. An example of a constant. Anong constant sa math? Pwede tang ikahang na double. This is a double is another variable. Okay? Ang red na to, data type ang tawag dito. Ha, i-red ko si data type. Okay. Data types.
Ko po, ma'am, yung
Nawala si Si Earl. Okay, punta tayo. Romeo, are you there? Could you hear us? Si Do, for instance, punta tayo kay Constant. Constant.
Wait. Uy, ako, ma'am.
Diyan ka? Or pumasok lang si Romeo?
Yes, ma'am.
Wait lang ha, or ano lang to? So, ilan tayo dito? 3 lang. Oh, meron pa.
Yo, great. Video.
4. We're just 4 here. Wait lang. Habang inaayos ko pa ang screen natin, mag-isip kayo ng constant. Ang alam kong constant is our family. Something that does not change. Okay? Pero sa
Never
programming, sa math, may constant tayo. Okay. Example of constant is...
Constant.
Ano? Sige daw.
Variables. Mga letters. Constant.
No, ang constant, balik tayo dito ha. Pag sinabi natin na constant, anything, something that same thing as variable. Para siya kay variable. Pero, with one difference, one major difference. The value of a constant does not change. While the value of a variable can change all throughout the program. Does not change anything. Kahit paulit-ulit natin siyang gamitin.
Pi, ma'am. Pi.
Okay, very good. Pi. So, balik tayo dito. Say, our pi. Okay? What is the value of pi?
3.14159 numbers.
3.14.
3.14.
14, 16 ba? 15.
3.14, ma'am.
3.14.
3.14.
Yeah.
Every day she sees her life fade away and pass her by. What can she do? What can she do?
Constant. Okay. So, constant. Hello? Do you hear me, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, constant. Yung sinabi ni Earl din kanina, tama yun. So, I think this is 3.1416. Check na lang natin. Okay, so we have a lot of examples for the pi. Okay, so, okay, dito nga tayo. Pi.
What can she do?
Wala ba akong internet? Wala ako internet.
Lives in dreams and self-told lies. Sees the world through jaded eyes. What can she do?
Hi guys, do you hear me? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Pero wala akong internet. No internet connection daw. Okay, so, let's go back. So constant, something that a variable with a major different. The difference with the variable is it has a constant value. So something that does not change. So aside from that, constant din to. Halimbawa, if you're going to use a double, yung itong data types na to, dadaanan natin to. So say, dollar exchange rate. Say for instance, the exchange rate at the moment for dollar is 51.55. Say for instance, example. For today, Say for instance, meron tayong mahabang program in which or from time to time, we're going to use the variable dollar exchange rate. So, every time na babasahin siya, paano siya naging constant? Na tomorrow, magpapalit din naman ng value. Paano siya maging constant, ma'am? Constant in the sense na pwede siyang i-consider na constant if we're going to declare a particular value for a particular variable. But we know the correct example for constant is the pi, 3.1416. Kasi constant siya. Okay, the value of pi is 3.1416. However, pwede din natin i-declare na constant. Depende sa gamit ng program, si exchange rate. For instance, for today, or for tomorrow, or say sabihin natin na we have here prices. Sabihin natin prices. Okay, price of condensed milk. Condensed milk talaga, no? Price of Alaska. Alaska. Nasaan na siya? Price of Alaska condensed. Okay. See, kay Fortune, yung price niya is 11.55. So, hindi pa siya nag-change ng price until such time na hindi pa nag-roll over, roll back, or tumaas yung presyo. So, meaning to say, every time na may bibili na customer sa cashier, okay, every time na dadaanan si price ng Alaska condensed milk, ito pa din yung value niya. Okay, kaya siya naging constant. Kaya pwede siyang gamitin na constant. Constant siya in a particular program. However, again, the 3.1416, constant siya for a particular variable and value, which is the pi itself. Okay? Any question about constant? Hello, guys? Children? Shall we move on? Can we move on? Okay na. Okay, conditional. Conditional, a set of code that will execute only if a certain condition is true. Okay, conditionals are used to test expression and perform certain operations accordingly. For example, you could test a number input by a user, and if it is too high to print, if it's too high, print the message, the number entered is too high, and the program exits. Thanks to conditionals, a program can work differently every time it runs. Say for instance, example, may question ba sa conditional? May tanong ba sa conditional, guys? Children? Okay, example, if grade is greater than or equals to, if grade is greater than or equals to 3.0, ano gagawin niya? Stop sharing. Ito, screen natin. Nakikita niyo? Kailan tayo dito? 7. Okay, I'm going to share again my screen, which is, kita na ba? Ang pinagsasabi ko. Kita na ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, conditional tayo. Condition. Alam natin sa college na ang grade nyo, the range of grade is 1.0 to 5.0. Diba? Aware kayo nito. Ang 1.0 to 3 is a passing grade. Tama. Garden. Grade. Okay? Tama. So, okay. Now, kapag exceed siya sa 3.0. Masyadong ginanahan. 3.5. Okay? Ginaunahan umabsent. Okay? Tapos, that is equivalent to failed. Failed, diba? Okay. Ganito siya. Ang example ko. If the grade, ang variable natin is grade. Okay? Ang variable natin grade. Okay? Si grade, if validate niya, if grade is greater than or equals to, no, mali ako dito. If grade is greater than or equals to 3.0, ano gagawin natin dito? Failed. Failed, tama? Failed. Otherwise, ano ipiprint niya? Okay? Say ang in-input ni user, sa grade is, say ang nilagay niya dito is 1.2. Saan siya mag-fall? Anyway, guys. Say ang nilagay ni user for the grade, again, ang grade natin dito is grade. Say ang nilagay ni user to validate the grade is 1.2. What is the answer? Ano yung response? Julie. Sarosa. Gabriel. Marine. Any comment? Okay, let's move on. Okay, ganito. If say my variable is say, okay, is equals to 143. Okay? Say ang nilagay ko dito say is equals, ang nilagay ko is 122. Ang gagawin niya, meaning to say the condition is false. Hmm? 122. 122 is not equals to 143. True or false? Aha, nakuha. Hindi siya
Yes, ma'am.
equals to 143. Unless otherwise, naglagay ako ng 143, okay? Equal siya. Meaning to say, if 143, ang nilagay ko, 143 meaning to say, true. Tama? So, ipiprint ko, or pwede kong sabihin, I love you. Right? Else, this is the condition. If the condition happens to be true, meaning to say, ang gusto kong ipahiwatig, mahal kita, I love you. Okay? Kapag hindi pasok yung number, okay? Kapag hindi pasok 101, meaning to say, ang ipiprint ni program, okay, ang ipiprint ni program, hindi kita mahal. Nasabutan ang condition. Meaning to say,
Yes, ma'am.
pag tumama yung condition, pag tumama, it proves to be true or it happens to be true, meaning to say, ito yung gagawin niya. Okay? If not, ito yung gagawin niya. Nasabutan. Okay, balik tayo dito. Say our grade na in-input ko is, okay, ibubuo ko siya ha. Ang grade na in-input ko is 4.4. Saan siya pupunta? Ano ipiprint niya? Anong gagawin niya?
Failed.
Failed. Okay?
Failed.
Failed. Very good. Pero ito, pag ginawa natin tong less than, okay? Pag ginawa natin less than yan, saan siya pupunta? Magfo-fall siya. Magfo-falls na siya, di ba? Ang mga kilay. Okay? Magfo-falls na siya. Bakit? If my input is 4.5, which is nagpalit ako ng condition, nakikita niyo yung condition ko? Hina-highlight ko sa screen.
Grade is
Yes, ma'am.
Nakikita niyo, naging less than. Okay, less than. Pero ang nilagay ko to validate is 4.5. So, meaning to say, pupunta siya sa false. Nasabutan. Pero kung nag-input ako ng 2.5, okay ha, yan ako ha, nag-input ako ng 2.5, okay, alalahanin nyo ha, pag nag-program tayo, ang gagamitin natin, yung code natin to work. Hindi yung utak natin. Kasi pag sinabing ganito, yung condition natin ng utak natin, automatic, sumasagot yan. Pag sinabi kong halimbawa, punta tayo dito. 12. Is this a number? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, it is a number. Pero ang gagawin natin ngayon, pag nag-program tayo, i-input natin si 12, papakilala natin kay computer kung maiintindihan niya to na number to. Pero sa atin, logically, instinct natin, nasa utak natin, na alam natin number. Okay? So, balik tayo dito sa condition. Dito sa condition, pagaganahin natin yung condition natin, okay? If 2.5 ang input ko, this happens to be true. Tama? True or false? General.
true.
True. Okay, kasi yung grade natin is 2.5 na. 2.5. Which is 2.5 is less than 3, meaning to say, patay tayo. Pag nagpalit tayo ng condition dito sa taas, mapalit kita uya. Okay na? So, pag naging true siya, ang mangyayari na, pass na siya. Okay? That is the condition. Okay, what happens to be true, ito i-perform niya. Okay? Kapag false naman, ito yung gagawin niya. Okay? Okay, balik tayo dito sa ito, ang tawag dito sa condition na to is equals. Ito, greater than and less than, conditional statement, less than equals. Ito, equal. Meaning to say, is 101 equal to 143? No, it is not equals. So, ang pupuntahan niya dito, magpo-false siya. So, here, 101 is false. Ang mangyayari, dito siya pupunta. Okay. So, kapag 143, ang mangyayari, this happens to be I love you. That is the condition. Okay? So, let's move on. Array. Arrays, specifically type of variable used in many programming. A web language including PHP, JavaScript, and Java that contains a list of related values. For example, a colors array repeating a list of colors. Okay? Ang array, bagi siyang, ang analogy ni array is just like address. Okay? Halimbawa, ako, nakatira sa 007. So, ang nandyan na record, or parang drawer, di ba? Drawer 1, drawer 2, drawer 3. Okay? Ang drawer 1, si Ma'am Janet. Ang drawer 2, for example, ito, sa window 1, si Ma'am Janet. Okay? Pag sinabing 1, ang lalabas dyan si Ma'am Janet. Pag sinabing number 2, si John Earl. Pag number 3, ang lalabas dyan si Marine. Ang sinabing 4, si Sarausa. Meaning to say, there is a particular addressing para makuha natin yung value na nilagay natin in each particular, sabihin natin container. Parang ganon. Okay? So, for example, eto, list of array of colors. For example, ako, naka-blue. Si John Earl, etong address na to ni John Earl, which is number 2, naka-red. Si Sarausa naman, naka-white. At si Romeo, naka-violet. Okay? So we have arrays of color, arrays of informations, arrays of numbers. Okay, loop. Basa. Si Sayang mabasa ng loop. Julie. Patingin naman, Julie. Basa. Julie.
Ma'am, ang nakikita namin, ma'am, yung sa kanina example.
I am so sorry. Kailangan ko palang i-manual to. Diyos ko, Lord. Wait lang. Wait lang. Kailangan ko palang i-stop sharing again. Then I'll go back to screen sharing. Okay. So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina about the array. For example, array of colors. Okay. So, more example of this as we go through. Okay. Example of loop. Loop na tayo. Okay, loop. Basa na. Julie.
Loop. Loop, a segment of code that executes repeatedly based on certain condition. Loops are used to perform tasks repeatedly a certain amount of times. For example, if you needed to print the number 1 to 10, we can use a loop for this task instead of manually printed all the numbers.
Loop. Something na paulit-ulit. Loops are performed tasks repeatedly. Okay? Something na hanap ako na example ng loop. Let's move on. Functions. Functions. Tupas. Teves. Teves? Are you there? Maureen? 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 Wala. Sarausa, can you please read the function?
Function, a set of code used to carry out specific tasks. A function can take parameters which will affect its output as well as return values. Functions prevent unnecessary redundancy because you can use them as much as needed instead of retyping some code over and over. For example, if you need to multiply two numbers instead of doing the calculation manually every time, you can supply the data to a function through some parameters which will do it for you.
Okay, the word parameters. And using the function, we could be able to avoid redundancy. So the use of function, hindi nagiging lengthy yung program natin. So parang meron tayong kinocall, and now and then, babalikan niya yung function na yun to be able to execute it. Class. Okay, take note niyo lang yung mga keywords muna. Okay, class. A template for a real-world object to be used in a program. For example, a programmer can create a car class which represents a car. This class can contain the property of a car, color, model, year, etc. and functions that specify what the car does. So it do drive, reverse, stop. Okay? So, meron siyang class for a car. Okay? And that particular car has a property. Okay? So that is what we call class or classes. Ang function naman, anong kayang gawin na car? It could be able to drive, it could reverse, it could stop. So classes are used in object-oriented programming. Okay? Medyo deep na tong dalawang to. A bit deeper than yung intro. Okay?